Hello, I'm Steph, this is JoAnne, and we help people like you create a life that you love. On today's conversation, we're talking all about our mess and how we can use that to share our message. So tune in, you can share your mess, and maybe you're in a spot where you think everything's the worst. We're going to help you understand and relate how our juicy mess ended up being something positive. So stay tuned if you want to hear about that. Maybe you're stuck, maybe you feel like everything is not working out when secretly it is.
And maybe there's just one area of your life that's not working out, and maybe like it's a mess in a whole bunch of areas, and I can totally relate to that. So yeah, it's kind of a cool place to be, to recognize that. I think it's a little empowering, Steph, when you recognize that what's going on, no matter how challenging it can be, there's some benefit in it, hey?
Absolutely, yeah. And we're going to share with you our personal stories as we share on this channel how to create a life that you love. This is coming from our own mess and our own messages that we're sharing. So I personally can think of a whole handful. So I'll share with you a couple of messes that I got myself into that actually launched me forward, and now that I'm on the other side of the wave, I can look back with great gratitude. And it wasn't until recently for me that I actually could look on this and understand. Until then, it was this feeling of frustration. Why do I have low iron? I'm not able to teach as a health coach if I have low iron, low energy. Why am I in this mess years ago of a relationship that I wasn't in alignment with, a career that I didn't see eye to eye with? Why did I fall out of the bed? Was that my final push to get out of that? So that's what we're chatting about on today's episode, and how I can now look back on that. So this will really help you if you feel stuck and you want to move forward. So a little bit on my mess. Two major things that stick out with me would be, we have these, from my experience, these everything's the worst situations, everything perfect storm, and then one thing is out of alignment, and I'll share with you both. So my everything's a mess story was just that. I was in a relationship that I wasn't in alignment with, a career that I didn't see eye to eye with. I was 40 grand in debt with coming out with a career that I didn't even like. I was living across the country from my family. What was I doing? And it was when I was speaking with a woman, and I didn't know what to do. I was so full up to the top. Everything was in my face, and it was the words that she had mentioned was, do what feels good. So in this mess of not knowing what to do, my only job was to, what feels good, Steph? What feels good? Am I gonna go have a coffee? How did that feel? And you don't need to know what feels good, what doesn't feel good. You just need to start paying attention and become aware. So that was my first step into this new existence, this new world of gratitude, when everything was the worst and everything was falling apart. And I actually fell off of my bed onto the floor when my turning point happened, my launch forward. That was the universe or somebody telling me to get the F out. And I actually fell out of bed in the middle of the night onto the hardwood floor. So maybe you're in that spiral right now, maybe you're past it, and it doesn't have to be that intense either. I've had other experiences that I'll share with you further in this episode. So let's hear from you, JoAnne. Let's hear a little bit of your mess.
Well, I can relate to falling out of onto the floor at me trying to get back to where I was. I fell off a treadmill, but so my experience of really hitting a low point and not knowing what to do. I was an Army officer. I really liked what I was doing. I had kids in university, and then I was ended up in open heart surgery, diagnosed with a very chronic and rare disease. My kids had gone away to university. Myself and my husband were in the process of divorce, and so I just felt like I didn't know who I was anymore or what I wanted to do. I was really totally lost. And I think my point, Steph, of kind of that awareness of giving myself is really inspiring to me to hear you, because I was in the same place when a doctor said to me that, you're killing yourself. I was on the treadmill trying to run and lift weights and get back to the place I was before. And when she said that to me, I kind of realized how little energy I had. I really felt it. And I remember that moment kind of giving myself permission and saying to myself, I just have to do stuff that gives me energy and makes me feel good. But that was a huge leap because I was so busy in my previous life trying to take care of everyone else and then not getting fed back what I needed, feeling resentful. So it sounds simple, but it was really profound for me to give myself permission to do what feels good. And I feel like for me, that was the turning point when I started to take responsibility for my own good feeling, and whether it was to go to a yoga class, have a nap in the day, just something that I needed to feel good. That was kind of the start of everything. Yeah, it didn't happen all at once, but I can look back now and recognize that as the beginning, like that little thought that I can do something to make myself feel good and give myself permission to do it was really the start of taking me down a different path. Yeah,
and something that I can relate as a high achiever, we all want to run at full tilt, like our gas tank is full all the time, when in reality, when we have something that is weighing us down, for me, multiple things at that time, and a low iron and low energy diagnostic, I was basically expecting myself to operate at 100% when I only had 50 or 60 to give. So that was a huge realization for me. Was it took the weight off, and I realized, no, Steph, you don't have to work full time and go to school and take care of your relationships and all of this. It's okay actually just to take a step back and take care of you and sleep more and do these things, which actually launched me into creating my online automated business, because I realized that I physically, if I worked full time, I had no time for my relationships, and that led me into, my friends resenting me resenting my family, all this icky feeling because I just had no more to give. I was working too much. So that actually launched me into creating my online business, which has been my huge message within health, is operating at 60%. Okay, Steph, figure out ways to run a business without running yourself down. And today, that's my message, is actually helping health coaches go from burnout to success and really taking care of themselves. And our work, our first order of business, is to take care of ourselves. So that is my message and I'm just realizing it now, why, being grateful for my low iron, it pushed me to figure out how to create a completely automated business online, make money while I'm sleeping, make money while I'm meditating, knowing that my work is to go meditate for 10 days, knowing that my work is to go to a yoga class, right? So in all of this, I've finally realized that, okay, you don't have to be frustrated with your low iron stuff. It's actually created this beautiful message. So that's a little bit of how I am being grateful and having this gratitude from this messy, icky situation that was years of frustration and years of low vibe, until a turning point, until that launch forward in the right direction. And that evolution, that gratitude, it only came within the past year. So my whole message is to share with you guys, and you know, to vibe high, but it's good to know that we get stuck throughout periods of our lives, and that pullback is actually necessary to launch forward. And only now am I able to see that with the light of being grateful, because I'll tell you, when I was in those situations, I was not grateful. I was anything but grateful. So knowing that it doesn't come overnight, and I've just recently recognized this, and 30 years old, it's pretty good that I've recognized it now. Woohoo! But if you've watched my channel or watched my show, and people will often say this to my face, isn't that nice, Steph? You got it all. You're healthy. Isn't that nice? It's everything comes easy to you. It's our choice, and we create it, and that's just the perception, right? So that's what I have to say. What do you have to say?
I love Steph. As you were talking, it makes me really happy to realize that you at your age are getting it. It took me a lot longer. But I think that turning point for me was giving myself permission, loving myself. I don't think I loved myself for a long time. I was running around looking for other people to give me love and burning myself out trying to get this, but I didn't really love myself. And I think that permission to do things that made me feel good, it was a step towards sort of loving myself. And then things started shifting. People started showing up in my life to support me. I totally resonate with that. Our paths are different. We come from different decades, but there's a commonality in the theme of our shared experience, right? Of giving ourselves that permission for self-care, self-love, and also it's kind of easy where I am now to look back and say that was necessary. At the time, I probably wouldn't have said that. I would have said, get me the hell out of here. I want out of this hospital bed, out of this marriage. And so I think if I were speaking to anyone or speaking to myself in that time, it would be, take a deep breath, JoAnne, and go have a cup of tea, do something that feels good, and just realize that what you're going through is really necessary is going to be a necessary part of my growth and evolution. And so from my experience with a lot of these health problems, I don't look at health and illness the same way anymore. So one of the things I love helping people do is, if they're in those challenges, is realizing that this challenge will create for you a new way of being. Like it's a huge opportunity. So working with your fears, working with all of those thoughts and emotions that surround trying to get out of a place that you are, and coming to, I would tell myself to chill, relax. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity. So take a deep breath and take care of yourself, and things are going to show up to help you. So that would be my message to you, is no matter how bad it is, do something that feels good to you, and let the universe kind of show up and support you. When you start supporting yourself, it's going to happen. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, right, Steph?
Beautiful. Thank you, JoAnne. So the message is, no matter what, do what feels good, no matter how sticky and icky it is, or if it's just a small shift. It's feeling good as the work, and that now on this we've both launched out into our purpose of, living a fulfilled life. That's still the work, right? Is feeling good. And that's what I teach my coaches to do. And if you own a business, your business is not your first priority. You are, and feeling good is the first priority. And I always teach 20% systems, 80% mindset, and feeling good. So that is the work, no matter where you are on your journey. Feeling good is the work. And we can share more messy stories with you. Stay tuned on our channel here. Subscribe and give us a review. Let us know if you have shared anything, if you can feel your stickiness unfold, because our purpose is to help you create a life that you love and get unstuck and launch yourself into this beautiful existence. So let's wrap it up here with...
Right. And remember, we're rooting for you. We're all in this together.
Yes, and you can come over. We have tribes for you. So if you want some more free training, some more love and support, we've got Mind Body Solutions on Facebook. We link it all up in the comments here. And then my specific group is Work Smarter, Not Harder, for you health coaches and business owners that want to live this life on purpose and have a business that doesn't run you and burn you out. You're actually living in success and feeling good. So come join us in there. Link is below, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See ya. Bye. Bye.